The Carolina Panthers are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now, and you can thank that for a lot of reasons, man. You could thank that for the young players, the free agent acquisitions, players staying healthy. The biggest reason I feel like the Carolina Panthers are on the best trajectory in the NFL right now when it comes to a franchise that have been down in the gutters for years and years, you got to give credit to Dan Morgan and Dave Canales. The second year GM and head coach of this football team have completely changed this organization and franchise around after 2023 being just in the gutter, firing Frank Reich after the first season, couldn't even finish his first season out. And you completely build and shift the culture of this franchise by adding just a bunch of great pieces in the draft and free agency. And you just do so much as a franchise. So first things first, I want to touch on Dave Canales because I said this in my live stream on Sunday afternoon. By the way, if you guys are not subscribed, subscribe for me real quick. I do live streams every Sunday after games. If you guys want to pull up, I would love that. We talk great Panthers ball and a win or loss every single Sunday after games. If you guys want to do that for me, please subscribe and also join those. But Dave Canales, he is our head coach of the future. Before we head into the numbers, let's just talk about the ballsy calls he makes every single Sunday. The challenge call that he had against the Packers. 90% head coaches in the NFL don't do that. Even if you're wrong, he was wrong, but he made that call, went forward on fourth down twice. One of them obviously got picked up because of the flag. He's making calls that a second-year head coach doesn't make, okay? He's making the right personnel decisions. He's learning along the way. One thing he's done, though, is he's making the right decisions as we keep going on and on throughout the season with personnel, just making the right decisions, right? Getting better as a play caller. He's way more comfortable calling plays as an offensive coordinator and head coach right now. He's coaching up the team while also calling great drives for this offense. Let's get into the numbers, okay? Because Ron Rivera, his first two seasons went 13-19, okay? Obviously one of the greatest coaches in Panthers history, taking us to that Super Bowl in 2015. That's to note. Matt Rule, after I've obviously fired Ron Rivera, 10 of 23 after the first two seasons for Matt Rule. Frank Reich couldn't even finish his first season, finished the season 1-10 in 2023. And Dave Canales, after the first two seasons, right now, midway through the season, okay, he's not even over yet. He's 10 of 16, which is on pace for a better win percentage since the 11-5 record in 2017. Obviously, unless we win out, he won't have a better win percentage of that season. My point is he is about to give us our best win percentage of a single season since 2017 as a head coach. In his second season after he took over a team in 2024 when Frank Reich got fired, he took over a team that we all thought was going to be rebuilding for another 3 to 4 seasons. And now we're on the brink of maybe making a little run here and getting into the playoffs in 2025. We're 13th in total defense after being last season, completely built that around. And I'm going to touch on Dan Morgan here in a second because he's a big part of this. Obviously, 20th in total offense. We're kind of mid in that department, but our run offense is getting there. The passing game is going to get there, man. We're going to go from 20 to probably 15 in that range by the end of the season, especially when we get more consistent in the pass game. It's going to get better, okay? And the defense could get top 10. The way we're playing right now, the defense could easily hit the top 10 by the end of the season. So the sky's the limit right now in terms of where we could be on both offense and defense this season. And now let's kind of shift towards Dan Morgan. 12 of the 20 of the 31 players in the rotation, I counted every player on this roster out of the 53-man roster that are kind of in the rotation every single week. 12 of the 31, which is 38% of the players in the rotation, are first or second year players. Let that sink in for you guys. If you guys are Panthers fans, let that sink in, okay? 12 of the 31 players in the rotation every single week, which is 38%, are first or second year players. This roster is super young. Dan Morgan has been able to do late in the draft. We've not been able to see this in years of a GM of that caliber be able to draft for the Carolina Panthers in late rounds, mid rounds, even early on. And he's been able to do that. Okay. And obviously what Dave Canales has been able to do in personnel, getting these players in the right situations to make plays. That is also to note as well. Now for the Dan Morgan side of things, let's touch on the free agency. Okay. Because obviously this past free agency it's looking like one of the best free agent classes we've had in almost a decade for the Carolina Panthers. Simply put, okay, you can believe me or not, this is one going to go down as one of the greatest Panthers free agent cycles in probably last 10 years. You signed Trayvon Moore to a 3-year deal, $56 million, which is $17 million a season. That's a steal. You have one of the best safeties in the NFL right now, simply put. When you put him in the box and let him blitz and stop the run, he's one of the best safeties in the NFL. Had another sack, had another TFL on Sunday, and had an interception as well. He is easily one of the best safeties in the NFL at the moment, and you got him at a cheap price for 2 more seasons after this season. Okay, you have J.C. Horn, Derek Brown. Obviously, you have locked up your core of defenders already with the potential of even more progression with young players. Okay, not to mention you whiffed on Milton Williams. After we did not get Milton Williams, we all panicked because the Patriots decided to give him 26 per season. It did not phase us because we went out there and signed Trayvon Morg. We went out there and signed Turk Warren, who, by the way, had his best game on Sunday against the Packers. You went out there and got your best running back for a 1-year, $2.5 million contract. 1-year, $2.5 million contract currently. He's one of the best running backs in the league making that this season. Dan Morgan had a great free agent class, not to mention last season as well, building the offensive line back up, getting Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, just beefing that offensive line up, obviously. And just so you guys can remember, 2023 free agent class, DJ Chark was our best signing. We obviously signed Adam Thielen as well in that free agent cycle. And we also signed Miles Sanders. That's the best we did in 2023. Dan Morgan came in here and swung the fences, and he's hit in free agency these first 2 seasons. Okay, now let's head into the draft, because the draft is where it's at, man. As I mentioned, with those 12 of 31 in the rotation being first or second year players, that is because of the way he's been able to draft the first 2 seasons. Trevin Wallace was a shell of himself last season, could not playing coverage at all. He is not a liability in any phase of football this season. He's one of the best picks, I think, of Dan Morgan's first 2 seasons so far, because of the way he took that swing in the third round last year, right? And we all knew he was a raw prospect. We knew he was athletic. Came in last year and looked terrible in coverage, and now he's not a liability in that department anymore. As a linebacker, he's continuing to progress. If he can continue to progress this way, he's going to be a top 5 player on defense when we're in our prime as a defense in 3 seasons, if he continues to progress this way. Okay. You went out there, you got Shaw Smith-Wade, who's a starting nickel back for you at the moment. You went out there, got Mitchell Evans this past draft, Jimmy Horn, who are in the rotation. Mitchell Evans, in my opinion, just in terms of a full player, is one of the best picks of Dan Morgan's first 2 seasons because of the fact that he can block and also in the receiving game. When he's been out there so far this season, Mitchell Evans has easily been our best tight end. Easily. His impact in all phases of football so far as a rookie is quite evident as a tight end. The fact that this staff was able to go out there and get an all-pro level receiver when we needed defense, it was evident. We all wanted defense coming off the last place finish in the NFL last season when it came to defense. And you go out there and say, we want to give Bryce a weapon like this, a big body weapon like T-Mac, instead of going out there and get Jalen Walker, Mykel Williams, a edge rusher of that caliber. You say, no, no, no. We are good. We love our free agent signings with Trayvon, Turk. And you say, now let's go T-Mac. And we also love Nick Scorin and Princely Umanmielen. This is the best coordinated last 2 seasons of just great decisions from a staff this team has been through in a decade. There's not been a better 2-season stretch in terms of acquiring players and just, taking a team from 2023 and flipping it around as quickly as Dan Morgan and Dave Canales has done already, as just 2 years of experience, mind you. First GM, first time head coach, and you are able to do this, and we're not done either. Listen, think about it. We already have a great core of defenders, right? Trayvon Moore, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn. If you can get the development of Nick and Princely and Trevin Wallace and even Shaw Smith-Wade, Lathan Ransom in the back end as well, to continue to develop their game, this defense is going to be top 5 in 2 seasons. Like consistently. Just think about that. This defense really just turned the table because of the ability of Dan Morgan to be able to drive in later rounds and even just pick up great guys in free agency that you just didn't know you had. Like you did not know you needed Trayvon Moore on your team, and he's such a good player right now. Okay, and offensively, we got an all-pro level receiver in the draft. You rebuilt the offensive line. Like we are seeing shuffling with the offensive line. It's been competent this season, even though we've had a bunch of injuries. Okay, you got Rico Dowdle. You got Jonathan Brooks come back from injury, who I think is just as talented as any back in our room. You drafted Trevor Etienne, and we can see the explosiveness. We can see the potential that he has as a back as well. XL, we hope he can continue to develop. Jalen Coker as well. the tight end room, you have potential there. I think Mitchell Evans is still clearly the most talented player in the room. And you got Jimmy Horn, who, when he's out there, just like Mitchell Evans, has just made a clear and cut impact. So this team is on a trajectory, like the title says, as you have not seen. I think there's no other team in the NFL right now that is on a higher trajectory than the Carolina Panthers in 1 to 2 years. You're 5-4 right now. You just beat the best team in the NFC potentially coming into this Sunday. And you're sitting pretty. You're sitting pretty because of what Dan Morgan and Dave Canales were able to do, rebuild this team, flipped and turned the table in 2 seasons. A lot of Panther fans were wanting Dave Canales gone and fired after the first 2 games of this season. And he just flipped heads and said, no, no, no. We're going to win 5 of our last 7 games after starting 0-2. 5 of the last 7 games I was starting 0-2. And Dan Morgan also gets a lot of the praise as well for what he's able to do. So I'm excited, obviously, if you cannot tell, but there will be a film breakdown for you guys coming tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to break down the film from the young players. Obviously, this kind of the big part of this team and why we're so good is because the young players been able to develop. Trevor Wallace, players like that. I'm excited because there's a lot of film from the Packers game that I kind of drew out and kind of, really seen the development of players like Trevor Wallace. Okay, I'm excited to break that down for you guys tomorrow. But if you guys are new, subscribe for me again. I'm trying to continue to grow this channel. We're trying to get to places that I did not think were possible on this channel. I'm only still here because of you guys. Continue to show love and stuff like that. But this team is good. This team is good. We can make the playoffs this year. Okay, if it's a wild card loss, I don't care. We can make the playoffs this year and just completely shift the culture of this team in 2 seasons because of what Dan Morgan and Dave Canales have been able to do. So again, if you guys are new, please do that for me. Subscribe. We go live. We try to make 2 videos a week. We try to go live twice a week, consistent as possible on this channel. So if you guys are new, do that for me. With that being said, I will see you guys next video. Keep pounding. Love you all. Just keep pounding again. Peace.